Hello all, welcome back. Today we are going to do a demo on creating virtual machines in availability zone. So without further ado, let's jump in the demo environment. We'll open portal.azure.com. Let's go to virtual machines. We'll create new virtual machine. We'll create a new resource group in my Visual Studio subscription. Let's keep the name as Visual Demo-Availability Zone-RG. Let's give the name of the virtual machine as Demo Zone VM1. We'll keep the location as East US region and we'll select the availability options as availability zone. Last time when you were creating availability options as availability set, this was the other option that you had selected. Now please remember that not all regions may have availability zone option. For example, if I go to West Central US, as I remember, does not have the availability zone option. So you have to select the region where this particular option is supported. Every region in Azure has got 3 zones. So that is depicted here, number 1, 2 and 3. You can create a VM in any of these zones. I'm picking up 1. I'll pick up the Windows 2012 R2 data center image. I'll change this size to a basic size to keep the cost low. Giving the username and password. I'm also going to allow the HTTP and HTTPS ports because in order to test the failover scenarios, I'm going to deploy a website in this virtual machine which I'll have to access over port 80 and port 443. The disks option I'm going to remain defaults, networking as well as defaults. Only thing I'm going to ensure is there is a public IP getting created. And I'm going to review and create. So in this particular availability zone, I'm planning to add 2 more virtual machines in order to test the scenario end to end. So instead of creating the steps manually, another quick option is I can download a template for automation. So I'm going to download that. I'm going to add it to a library and I'm going to name it as Windows 2012 Zone Virtual Machine. Okay. And I'm going to click on save. So this template is saved successfully. I'm going to close this plate and I'm going to click on create. This may take good 5 to 6 minutes, so I'm going to fast forward the video. Excellent. So the virtual machine is now created. Now let's go to the resource. So it's running and it's in the East US zone number 1. Okay. Now let's go and create a new virtual machine. For that, we have already saved a template. So let's go to templates. We'll pick up the Windows 2012 zone virtual machine and we'll click on deploy. If you see here, it is going to give us a template where we can fill in all this information. It could get a little tricky again to fill in all these informations. That is because the parameters here are all null. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick tweak. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open the home again in another window. I'm going to go to the resource group, the availability zone resource group, and here I'll see the deployments. This is the deployment. I'm going to basically click on redeploy. Edit the parameters. I'm going to copy the parameter file from here and I'm going to paste it here. Okay. However, here we'll have to do some changes. So I'm going to pick up the same availability zone. The location is East US. So this will be the network interface card. That's a random text which got added. I'm going to say VM2 NSG. The rules is going to be the same where I'm allowing RDP, HTTP and HTTPS. The virtual net name, that's also going to remain the same. The public IP is going to change to 2. The virtual machine name also changes to VM2. The Azure admin password. Remaining things, but yes, this is important that I'm now going to put it in the zone ID 2. So I think there is a small checkbox that I need to agree to the terms that I'm going to now purchase. So even this is going to take a few minutes, so I'm going to fast forward the video and we'll be back when the virtual machine is ready. Excellent, so the virtual machine is created. I'm also going to create another virtual machine using the same way. I'm going to go to the templates, select the same template, Windows 2012 Windows, and click on deploy template. Going to edit the parameters. Sorry. To paste it. Going to select the same availability zone. This is VM3 NSG. Name of the virtual machine is 3. So this is going to create the third virtual machine in the same resource group in a different zone. So in short, we have 3 virtual machines, each in each of the zones 1, 2 and 3. So let's pause the video for a minute while the virtual machine is getting created. Excellent. So the virtual machines are now created. Now I can go back to the home page and check the virtual machines. I have 3 virtual machines, VM1, 2 and 3. All of them are in running state. All of them are present in one of the resource group in the East US region. Okay. So now let's check the overview panel of each of the virtual machines. You can see that the availability zone for the first virtual machine is 1. The availability zone for the second one is 2 and for the third one is 3. So these 3 virtual machines are now placed in different zones in the same region, which is the East US region, which means that in case of any data center failures, then the other VMs in the other zones or data centers will take up and make sure that your application which is deployed on these virtual machines is up and running. So in order to test this scenario, let us deploy the IIS on each of these 3 virtual machines. To do the same, one way is to remote into the desktops, and as shown in the previous video, we can always run command directly from the portal. So let's run the PowerShell script. To install the Windows feature, name web server, include management tools. So while the script execution is progress, let's run the same on the other 2 virtual machines as well. Run command, run PowerShell script. So this would be this VM2 and let's do it for the third VM as well. So on all the 3, we are installing the IIS server. We'll pause the video for a few minutes and we'll be back once the script execution is complete on all the 3 virtual machines. So IIS server is now installed successfully on all the 3 virtual machines. If you can see here, the script execution on all the 3 tabs is complete. Which means that if I go back to the overview tab and open the public IP address through a HTTP port, it is going to show me the default websites on all the 3 VMs. Yeah. So now one way is to basically load balance these VMs, and it would be great if each of the VM showed a small message saying from which virtual machine this website is being served. So in order to do that, let's run some small commands on each of these 3 virtual machines again. So the script execution is complete on the VM1 machine, complete on VM2, and it's still progressing on VM3. However, let's go back and check the VM1 message. Okay, so we are getting a message that this site is being served from VM1 and this site is getting served from VM2. This is still not complete. Hence, we are getting the default page. Let's give it one more minute. Excellent. So the script execution is complete. I'm going to refresh and you can see that this site is now being served from VM3. So we have 3 websites deployed on all these 3 VMs. Now what we have to do is, in order to test the failover scenario, we have to first stop one of these 3 virtual machines and see whether this particular website is still up and running or not. In order to do that, first we have to set up a load balancer. So let's go ahead and set up a load balancer. I'll put it in the same resource group as that of my virtual machines. We'll give it a name. Give it in the same region as that of the load balancer VMs. I'll create a standards queue. That would be zone redundant. I'm going to click on create. We'll give it a minute and pause the video and we'll fast forward once the resource is created. Okay, so now the resource is created. I'm going to go to the resource. The first step I'm going to do is go to the backend pools and add a backend pool. So I'm giving it a name. Hopefully it exists. Yes, it does. Select the virtual network of the VMs and I have 3 virtual machines which I'm going to select in this virtual network. And I'm going to add. So after the backend pool is created, I'm going to add a health probe. So if you can see here, 3 virtual machines are added in the backend pool. Let's go ahead and create a health probe, a new health probe. We'll say zonal health probe. I'm going to leave it default. Okay. Suppose that we'll also be creating one load balanced rule which will look for the front end IP address and it will be redirecting it to the backend pool. So this would be the load balancing rule. We'll select the backend pool and the health probe, and I will keep the defaults as it is and click on OK. Okay. So if I go to the Overview tab, I have this public IP address which I'm going to copy into a new browser window and I'm going to hit. So this particular load balance public IP is now going to redirect to any of the available virtual machines. So if you see here, it's getting from VM3 as of now. I'll refresh it. So now it's coming from VM1, VM3. Alright, so now it's also coming from VM2. So this way it is going to different VMs. Now in order to test our failover scenario, we'll have to shut down one of these zones. Of course, because we cannot have control to shut down the Azure zones. So all we can do is shut down one of the virtual machines. Maybe let's shut down VM2. We can pick up anyone in random. I would recommend go back to my previous video in order to look out at the SLAs in detail. Okay, so now our virtual machine 2 has been shut down. So when we refresh this page, this is the load balanced public IP. It's always coming from 1 or 3, but it would never show you a page not found or website down address. VM1, VM3. So in this way, one of the VMs going down is not letting our website go down in totality. And thus we have tested the failover scenario of the availability zone VMs. So we have the next topic lined up is region pairs and a demo around it where we will be looking into the Azure front doors. So please stay tuned. If you have any feedback, do share your comments. Please subscribe so that you get notified whenever I add a new video. And really, thank you so much.